Welcome to the channel, everyone. FMD Gaming here, and this is the first episode of my new series, Northgard How To. This series is for beginners to intermediate players that are new to the game and want to rank up fast with a specific clan. The first clan we're starting off with is How To Boar. I chose Boar because I've been playing it a lot lately, and I love how adaptable this clan is. The Boar clan, it can do it all. 801 rush, it's got strong mid-game, it's viable mid-game, and has, basically an insane economy late-game. The first decision you want to make with Boar is to find your lore stone. One cool thing about Boar is that you can grab tiles with hostile animals on it, and they will protect those tiles for you. The only downside is it's going to cost you a little bit of extra food, but you don't need a clear to get what you want, so that's awesome. You don't want to build anything until you unlock your first lore. This is why it's super important to get that lore stone right away and assign a villager to it. Once you get that first lore knowledge, you should always pick Simple Living. It allows you to construct buildings at half the wood cost and reduced upkeep cost. Easily one of the most powerful lore in the game, and Boar not needing a lot of wood shows just how flexible this clan can be. Once you acquire Simple Living, you're going to want to build food buildings and at least one food silo right away. A lot of clans don't need silos and sometimes they're a waste, but Boar clan is one that definitely needs it, especially in team play and if you're the designated feast player. You also want to build either a longship dock or a trading post early on right away, and assign at least one villager in the first summer so you can start generating gold early on. Both options are viable. Boar does have bartering, which allows you to generate happiness with trades, but I find the lore from longships early on very helpful. Most new players struggle to generate gold fast enough, and when time comes for upgrades on units and buildings, usually new players fall short and can't meet the thresholds. Make sure you save up enough wood to build a woodcutter's hut, obviously, after you build everything else that you need right away. You should assign 2 villagers to it right away, and the rest of the population should be focusing on food till winter, except for that one that's in the longship dock or the trading post. Boar doesn't need to really build houses either. Until your population gets, capped, which is usually around 14 villagers, you can basically just avoid building houses. You may need to build 1 or 2, later on, but early on you don't have to worry about it, which is a nice advantage to Boar. You'll hear me say this a lot in my videos, but it is very important to focus on food during the summer months. You usually want to have around 170 food for the first winter. That way when winter comes around with this reduction to gathering food, your units can do other things like scouting, mining, building, forging, producing gold. And then once winter's over, you can then kind of refocus your economy back to getting that food production back. Before I go into more details about winter, let's talk about lore. Lore can be the deciding factor in your game, so it's really important to know which lore to choose. After Simple Living at the top of the tree, you're going to want to move to the bottom tree and grab Lay of the Land. And then after Lay of the Land, either shipbuilding or bartering, depending on which building you decide. Once you decide on one of those two, the next lore you're going to want to grab is Handiwork. Handiwork is a must. It improves the production of non-upgraded buildings by 15%, which allows you to save your stone for upgrading scout camps and training camps. Depending on how long you believe your game will last, you can also try and grab trading caravans at the end of the bottom tree after Handiwork, especially if you went with bartering. This increases your relationship with neutral factions 20% faster. Factions such as giants, elves, and dwarves. Very strong if you're trying to get giants on your side, but that means it's going to take even longer to fill out your military tree, and each lore you select, it takes even more lore to get to the next lore. But if it's in either an early rush or you got a feeling that they're going to rush you, I would recommend skipping that after Handiwork and just going straight to the military tree and getting Weaponsmith. After Weaponsmith, you're going to want to grab fur coats. And then if you need the happiness, if you decided to go with shipbuilding, usually I recommend feeling safe first and then military strategy after that. But if you decide to go with bartering and you're generating, some happiness off of that, and you can probably get away with just going military strat first and then going feeling safe after that. Based on the speed of the game really dictates when you should go for your military lore. Like I said earlier, if you feel like, it's a fast-paced game, like they're going to rush you, you're trying to rush them, it's like a 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, you probably want to go military lore a little bit earlier. But if it's a more extended, longer game, like a free-for-all or a 2v2v2v2, those games tend to last a little bit longer. You can get away with grabbing other lores before you really start going down your military lore tree. But Boar does have a lot of forgiveness when it comes to lore. 200 fame, you'll gain a free lore. So if you do pick a wrong lore, you want to get greedy with it, you do have a little bit of forgiveness there for you, so nothing too bad. Back to winter. Usually you want to mine iron first in the winter over stone and doing other projects. what I do with my iron right away is I try to upgrade my gold producers, and then after that I'll try to upgrade whichever unit I'm using for war. Typically it's warriors with Boar, and that will cost around 15 iron, 5 for the gold producers, 10 for the warriors, and then you'll have to find another 5 iron somehow to get your chief, whether that's from George's Blessing or your second iron node, or you decide to conquer a Draugr spawn. All those ways will generate more iron for you, so you're able to get your chief. After the first winter, your war unit should be upgraded, and what you want to focus on is grabbing more tiles and producing gold. To have an army of 10 to 12 units, you should have around 700 to 850 gold, and the quicker you can make an army, whether that's late 801 or early 802, the better off you'll be catching your opponent off guard. And if you cannot easily take all their tiles, you'll definitely destroy their econ. I remember when I first started playing Northgard, I would search Google and YouTube and try to figure out what the best lore path was for each clan. I always got stuck trying to figure out, is it supposed to be this or this? Am I doing this too early? Am I doing this too late? So I figured once I got a little better at the game, it'd be giving back to the community by showing them, here's the correct path you're supposed to take, here's what the preferred path is for lore. The rest of the gameplay is my village scouting, clearing, and conquering my opponents. Let me know in the comments if this video was helpful and you want to see more videos like this. Tell me down below if I missed anything important, or if you have a better strategy to the Boar clan, and which clan you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.